evening, and welcome to Medieval Dynasty. The stream that I ended up doing this morning seemed too short. I didn't feel like I did a whole lot this morning, so I thought I would do another one tonight. Alright, so despite the fact that it was just this morning, I have to remember what I was actually doing. Yeah, so we ended up getting our first villager by accident, and I panicked to put together a place for them, which I was able to do. But for right now, I'm not sure what I plan to do. Um, she's actually a really good villager, so like looking at the overall specs, she can pretty much do a lot of different things. Right now, I am just having her generate uh, some logs, which apparently is working quite well. Yeah, so I think it should be good. She can stay there working away for the time being. I was able to finish off the one quest, which starts into another quest, which I will need to get at least 15 buildings. As of right now, I've got 30 possible buildings, which opens up a lot of options. The fact that I have one villager already ready to go, she's gonna end up generating lots of logs. Let's see here. So current settings. I've got her working on logs for the most part. I don't have any planks at the moment. But I think what I will do is I'm gonna drop this down to there. I'm going to increase there. So every day, just her working on her own, she's gonna end up generating a net of 24 logs. 5 and a bit planks, 21 firewood, and 4.06 sticks. Now sticks are relatively easy to come by, and if I am going to end up setting up houses as stone, I'm not going to need as many sticks as I would if I was having to make them out of wattle. So just trying to think what the best way to do this. As of right now, I need to come up with 390 coins, of which I have 23.4 coins in order to pay taxes. Now the taxes are what I have generated so far, are the buildings that I've built and the farmland that I have here have incurred that amount of taxes, which 390 coins really isn't that much, because there's a lot of things that you can do to generate coins. Just taking a look at the field here, and I've got carrots growing but not ready to harvest. So I can't sell that stuff. But there are a lot of other options. The most basic option is always stone knife. Stone is easy to get, and because it's all over the ground. So what materials do I have? I don't have a lot of leather. I've got lots of fur. So I'm wondering whether food have I got? So there's a little bit of dried meat right now for my villager. What I think I might do is do some hunting. If there are some deer around, but I can't remember if, because animals, oh, I'm too far away. Am I? Am I too far away? Yeah, I'm not in the I'm not in the right spot. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. few knives. A couple, apparently. Animals. Most of the animals are only available in certain seasons. They will only appear in certain seasons. So when you're hunting, not only is the location important, but also what season that you're hunting in. Because if you're looking for a particular animal to be able to hunt, and you end up trying to hunt it in the wrong season, you are not going to find it, because it's just not there. Let's see, this says that I have encountered deer up here. Are there still some deer here? There is. Whoops. Nope. Where did that... Is it you? I don't know where my... Oh, well... I injured it, I think. Whoops. So I have 53 meat. I think I'm good. Whoa, hey. Well, I think I've done enough for now. Whoops. I don't. No. I don't need any more, so I'm not going to upset those boars. I am going to go over here. Because meat is worth 3 coin. Dried meat is worth 8 coin. Now obviously I'm not going to get that amount. Because you have to improve your diplomacy and then increase your stats on that, and then you can eventually get better prices, so you'll end up getting more money when you end up selling stuff. But that's a good gauge on how much you're going to end up getting back when you end up doing. Obviously, other recipes are going to give me a lot more, but with this, basically I want to be able to get as much with as little effort as possible at the moment. I don't want to have to run around and get every single stone that's in existence. And I don't, at this point, I don't want to spend a lot of time, because as you get farther and farther into the game, it becomes a lot easier to make money. Just the fact that you can farming on its own generates so much in the way of resources that is basically free. Because you can sell all the amount that you grow, you gain a lot more then what your villagers will end up needing to be able to eat, which means that you will be able to sell off some of that in order to make some money in order to pay your taxes. But there are a lot of other ways as well, because right now I could basically sell logs for free because my villager, the villager that I've got, is generating logs. Well, technically not free because they're also costing me food and firewood, but...
How is life treating you? Best goods in the valley.
So let's see what I can get out of here. 4. So for right now, uh, 184, so not really a whole lot.
See you soon.
How is life treating you?
And gathering. So he has survival skills. Hunting is not his thing.
See you soon.
So not very useful. So if I remember, so these are 40. So if I can go with... If I can find some stones... that... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Food. There we go. I was getting a bit thirsty. Alright, I'm gonna get hungry soon. However, with this, I should be able to make some knives.
wares never disappoint.
Now this should get me a little bit better. So it gives me 20. Yeah, so that's better.
Goodbye.
So 20, I have 550. Oh, I have 550, not 3. So yeah, where is over there? Okay, I am staring. Yep, there you are. Perfect.
Hello there.
So she's a crafter, not a hunter.
Have a good day. Hail, friend.
Hunter. Not a... Alright.
See you soon.
So I've at least gotten the taxes taken care of. At least for this year. The more that you end up increasing the building count, the higher, and add more farmland, the more your taxes go up. And taxes are accumulated every season, and then they are due every spring. Most of the time it's not really that big of a deal.
Hail, friend.
He's a farmer. And he's a hunter. Interesting. No diplomacy. And no extraction. Alright, so I will get this guy. To move into there. And yeah, hunting and farming. He's got a little bit of survival. which it's not really that big of a deal because most of the time with these stats, the higher it is, the better that they are at that job, and the happier that they're going to end up being. But it's not the end of the world as long as they end up having a decently high like this. If I set it to anything like this, they're going to be sad for a while until this ends up growing to the point where they're going to start liking the job. So I'd rather, it's much easier to put them into a job that they're already skilled at than it is to put them into a job that they're not skilled at. I'm just not sure at this point whether I want to work with hunter or farming. Because right now I only have the barn set up, which doesn't really do a lot at the moment. I would need to build the farm shed to actually be able to plant and to have them work the farm automatically. So I think what I might do is have them be a hunter. This is somewhat temporary at the moment because since I made a mistake on getting a villager way too fast, they aren't ideal conditions, but at the moment as long as I can get this working, I need to give them some knives, but alright. So I think that's good. Now all I need to do is provide them with the tools that they need to accomplish their job, and they should be fine. They really only need Most of the jobs only need one tool, which is an interesting enough mechanic and relatively simple. It's easy to work with, which I'm kind of glad. So when something ends up getting overly complicated, you end up having issues with the scaling. But so with hunting, you don't actually need to provide them with tools to be able to take down prey. For some reason, that's just automatic. You only need to worry about them being able to harvest the materials off of the animals that they take down. So basically, all you need to do is make sure that they have, for hunting, they just need a stone knife. For logging, getting logs, making firewood, things like that, they need some sort of axe. And I should say they don't need a stone. The hunter doesn't need specifically a stone knife, they just need any knife. So when you end up unlocking other tiers of knives in later game, you can provide them with better knives, which ends up improving the overall durability, which means that they end up using less knives to provide the materials. Now, it's a little early at the moment to be able to have things provided, but I think we're good. Oh, maybe not. No tool, no resources. Why don't we have tools and resources? Stone knives. The stone knives should be there. Is he just not at work yet to get a stone knife? Status free time. Must be, so I just have to wait for them to go through that. Alright, so time to grow the village. So to get a community, starting a community, I need 15 villagers. Now, to start with, I am going to change the housing a little bit. So, before I end up getting any more villagers, I am going to are the obstacles in the way? Are all of these stones in the way? So I'm going to build a stone house. move the existing people into it, and then change this house into a stone house. Right now, I am way too borderline on pretty much everything, because I've only just started out. So a lot of the building that I have to be able to do is gonna be limited by how much I can carry. Now the one advantage to changing this out is each material has a different insulation value. I'm not sure the stats or anything like that. All I know is that having to provide firewood is an ongoing battle for maintaining the village. It's improved quite a lot from when I first started playing the game. They've improved a lot of the mechanics and the way that things end up working, but you still end up having to worry about the type of wood product that you're having available to your villagers, because each wood material ends up having a different heating value, and I can show that to you with this. So here in the wood items, so the value here so this gives me 230 wood. So, but there's only 46 firewood. So for 46 items, I get 230. So it's a much higher value per item than, say, sticks. So 255 only gives me 255. So, and I mean, I can turn this off so that they don't actually use it. But it's always good, because the last thing, it's always good to have a backup for this. But one of the issues that I ended up having when I first started playing the game was I never ended up paying attention to how much firewood there was. Guess what? When they run out of firewood, they start burning sticks. And then when they run out of sticks, they start trying to burn logs. So you've got a guy working away, generating all of this stuff here. Well, they're going to end up burning up everything that they're going to end up making. Whereas if you end up having enough firewood, that they're going to end up burning up the firewood, and it's going to last longer, which means that it's going to end up, you don't have to supply as much to it as before. Now, additionally, the houses end up affecting, I don't know if I can show that. Yeah, so here. So this is the house that I built. It's got the most, the highest materials. So it's plank roofs and stone walls. So insulation value is 92.9. Now, I don't know the math on it, but this affects how much wood they're going to end up using every day. So if we look at this one, which is the first house the first house that I built for the other villagers, it's a wattle. It's a thatch roof and wattle walls. So you can see here that the insulation value is 50%, which means that I'm going to use a lot more wood to be able to keep these villagers alive and happy. So the better the materials that I can do, and you can gain even more, because one of the things that I just unlocked in the last episode was handyman. So this is insulating walls for lower firewood. So if I look at this, I now have additional options. I used to only have build, repair, and destroy. Now I have add insulation and remove insulation. Adding insulation, you can see that the color ends up changing on all of these buildings. Adding insulation, which I don't have, will increase their insulation value. The higher the insulation value, the less you have to worry about heating. So in a case of this, I should be able to get one insulation percentage of 100%. Theoretically, I don't know. It might even go above 100%. I don't know. I haven't looked at it for when I've insulated completely, but ultimately, the higher the quality of it, the better off that you're going to end up being in the long run. I was going to get something to eat. That's what I was going to do. I'm going to get some of that. Now, let's take a look at this hunting lodge. Now that everything should be good. So, what am I looking at? So, they are going to generate 11.38 dried meat per day. But I'm going to end up having more raw meat So what I need to be able to do is balance this. So this demands 11.38. So it's 1-to-1 for this. So as long as I do this, so it's 1-to-2. So for every one of these, I can add 2 of those. So and what this is going to end up doing is so as of right now, I can generate 19.73 dried meat per day. Now for right now, that's perfectly adequate because I only need this as kind of a stopgap until I can get other means of feeding the villagers. Right now, just to be able to have the villagers that I have somewhat self-sustaining is what I'm going for, because there are other. I'd like to start improving the overall village itself and increase the number of villagers, but it's pointless to have villagers if all you're going to end up doing is suddenly start starving them to death. I mean, your villagers don't die, which is kind of nice in the game, but at the same time, they don't get happy, and then they end up leaving, and then you have no more villagers. So I would much rather start out slow and make sure that there's an adequate balance in place. The other side of things is the more that I generate from those villagers, the more options I have for being able to do something else down the road, like generating enough money for taxes, for one thing. Oh, I ended up getting that food, and then I ended up not eating it. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I end up staying balanced in setting things up, because it can get away from you fast. If you end up putting too many villagers in, you end up reaching a point where like all of them are unhappy all at once, because all of them generating or using up all the resources ends up making them all unhappy. And all it takes is one or two to push it over the edge, and then all of your villagers end up. And I don't know if there's a way to actually dismiss villagers. I think the only way that you can get rid of them is to get them upset so much that they end up leaving, which is relatively easy because all you need to do is dump them out of a house. But I think that I don't think that there's an easy way to do it. You have to really work at it to get rid of them. But fortunately, I don't think I've ever encountered any of the villager stats that are actually really bad. All of them have at least something that they're good at that you can actually utilize within the village. I need some logs. Fortunately, she's been working away, so we should have tons of logs now. Yeah, we're 59 logs now. Now the downside of trying to use the best materials at this point in time is just how much of a grind it is to get it, because once you end up setting, like right now, I've actually unlocked all that I need to be able to not have to grind. I just have to let the NPCs generate all the materials that I need. The only problem is that I need to actually have villagers to do that. I can't just suddenly start having that the materials being generated. So I need to get villagers, and to keep villagers, I need to have houses for them. And I have to have enough food and firewood to keep them happy. So just throwing like just hiring or arranging to have a ton of villagers in the village is not going to cut it, because as you could see when in the last episode this morning, as soon as I ended up hiring that or getting that villager and she didn't have a house, she got unhappy fast. And from the looks of things, she didn't actually do any work until I ended up having the house in place. So, what am I doing? I need to do this. Alright, so now I need a bunch of logs And there are 4 sections of roof and 12 each, so that's 48 planks. Which I don't need any sticks at the moment. There are 2 sections for every wall, and there are 4 walls. So that's 8 logs. There's 2 windows, so that's 10. Because every window and door wall ends up needing 2 of them. I've built a bunch already, but I can't actually carry 10. I don't think. Oh, I can do 10. Sure, that works. Not to mention the fact that I need 4 there. Two, 3, 4, 5. So I need 5 more logs and 48 planks, which I do not have that. So 5 more logs. And now I need 48 planks. Now, one plank, or one log gives me 2 planks, which means that I need 24 logs to do 48 planks. I cannot carry 24 logs, so I'm going to try 12. I'm slightly overweight. Now I'm going to interrupt her, which doesn't actually change anything. I don't know if they are going to, it's permanently going to be like this, but whether the villager is physically working at a workstation or not doesn't matter. Even if they're a really long way and they basically never reach the, so you could theoretically put a house on one end of the map and a workstation on the other end of the map, and that villager would spend all day traveling to the workstation and then travel. They might not even reach it. They'll just turn around and go back home at the end of the day, but they're still generating resources for the village. So it doesn't make any difference whatsoever if you interrupt them and use a workstation. But at the same time, it's I usually end up for major things that I'm gonna end up using a lot of, like that, like the carpentry. I don't remember what that workstation is. Whatever that workstation is. I usually end up liking if I'm going to do a lot of building and I don't have enough resources to be able to cover it. I usually like to have the workstations available to me so that I don't have to interrupt them. I mean, it does make any difference one way or another, but I don't know. I don't like interrupting them. All right, so now get this building done. Yay! So now you can see that this is up to the 92.9. So we will move this person to there. Did it move them both? It did not. So now I'm going to move this guy over to there. Right? So now both of them are in this house here. So see this? When the insulation value was 50, they would use 60 wood per day. But now, because the insulation value is 92.9, they're only going to use 34.29 wood per day. And if you look at this, I've got a value of 260 wood for this firewood. So it's going to take them a very long time to be able to burn through that firewood. So it's, whereas at 60, well, 260, let's do the math. So 260 divided by 60 would end up being 4.3 days. So at 60, that it would take 4 and 1/3 day to go through all of the firewood that I've got right now. Whereas right now, 260 divided by 34.3 is 7.5 days. So I went from basically only lasting an entire season for just 52 firewood to lasting well over half a year. Because the seasons on this, each day is one season. or each, no, 3 days is 1 season. Because, you know, you can't have time be real life in a game, otherwise it gets really boring really fast. So 3 days goes by and a season changes, which means that 2 seasons is 6 days. So 6 months ends up being 6 days. So a day a month, basically. Alright, so now that I have those guys all worked out, they have their nice new house. Now I can go back to this. So I threw this together just to get it going, but now I'm going to, oh, I guess I'm getting some stuff back. Now the downside is that in order to upgrade, you have to destroy. So now I can change this to that. Now I don't know if there is any mechanic. Maybe somebody out there knows better than I do, or has researched it. I haven't yet. I don't know what advantage there is besides the number of people that can live in a house for upgrading. So in buildings, there are 3 houses, 3 house types. There's simple small house, there's simple house, and there's house. A simple small house just has 3 people living in it, whereas a house lets you have 4 people in it. It's a lot more spacious. Now I do know that there are cosmetic things that you can do now. It was added with, I think it's the most recent update. But I haven't played around with that mechanic enough to know what it actually does. So I don't, theoretically the bigger house would end up letting you decorate more, which if decorating increases happiness better, it would obviously let your villagers be happier, but I don't know if that's the case. I guess we'll find out. We'll just have to keep playing. Which is fine, because that's what I was planning on doing anyways. I don't have enough food. I'm gonna do this. Yes, yes, I know your stomach's growling. You're hungry. Hurry up and make this dried meat so you could eat it all. I don't think 10 dried meat will last for very long, but at this point, is there anything that lost with poison? No, so that's not. Yeah. Not that I necessarily need to, but I'm going to take a quick bath. Take a drink of water. And just keep building. How much? I need some logs. I don't remember how many logs I need to finish that. I don't need any sticks at the moment. I don't think I need this many, but I'm gonna do this anyways. I am going to need some planks at some point. Yeah, so that's good for logs. So now I need stone. I don't know if I have any. Oh, I've got limestone. Ah, sweet. How many can I carry? I can carry 35 kilograms. And I believe one stone is 1 kilogram. So I'm gonna go 30. That puts me 4 kilograms overweight, which is fine. Oh. I apparently do need a log. I need one more log. And I need a bunch of sticks. Don't remember how many that I need. Apparently exactly that. Alright. Much more stone do I need? A lot. And I know it's kind of dark to see this, but I'm going to try and power through all of this to get this built. Fortunately, the one mechanic in this game that it doesn't have in daily needs is exhaustion from sleep. You are only forced to sleep on the change of seasons. Which means that you can keep working throughout the night without any penalty. Or without any apparent penalty. I don't know whether they've actually built in any penalty. Because there doesn't appear to be any sort of sleep deprivation mechanic. At any rate, it will force you to sleep eventually for the change of seasons, which is fine. The one cool thing about change of season as well is every change of season you also reset all of your needs meters, which means that you always start out at full health. You always start out with full hunger bar. So I only need 3 more stones. Right? And then I need 48 planks. Which I have... how many planks? I have 11 planks. So I need... well, I can only carry 12 anyways, so... and that's on the high end. Whoops, I am carrying way too much stuff. So I'm going to dump this. And I am going to just process these ones. It's going to take even more time. Well, I'm at close to the end of the second day of spring. Which I think overall is not that bad. Oh. Well, that's bad. So I'm gonna do 6, 7, and that. I should have just enough to do this. Alright, so I have two houses that can actually keep villagers nice and warm. One thing I wasn't quite sure on was the food items. So 10 dried meat is 50 food. So as of right now, I can't even last one full day with the amount of dried meat that I currently have. Um, so the two villagers that I have currently require 60 food. My hunting lodge is... Did that go up? I don't remember what the number was before. I don't remember. So I am producing 20 dried meat per day. And one dried meat is 5 food, which means that 20 would be 100 per day. which means that I can only get one more villager if I'm going to try and live off of dried meat. So I think that if I am going to add another villager, that villager has to be a hunter. Because if I can get a second hunter going, I don't know if that would double the production rates. But if it did, then that would mean that I would increase from 100 per day, 100 food per day, to 200 food per day, with adding one more villager. And if a villager ends up being 30, I would increase by 100 and go down by 30. About there. That's better. Let's do that. I'm gonna do this. So yeah, I think that I need another hunter for right now. Now the downside of that is going to be the fact that I will also have to make more stone knives, because with the increase in the number of workers, that should end up reducing down the durability of their tools much faster. Now, if you're wondering why I end up running in a diagonal every once in a while, there seems to be I don't know whether it's a visual glitch or an actual game mechanic, but you seem to move faster if you're going two directions at once. So, like, you're not just going forward, so you can go forward, you can go sideways. And if you end up going in a diagonal, which is like going two different directions at the same time, it seems to go faster. I don't know whether it's just an illusion, but that's what it seems. So I sometimes go in a diagonal to go faster. But whether that is an illusion or not, I'm not too sure. But it's more apparent when you end up getting overloaded. And you end up carrying too much. It makes a huge difference. Alright, so I should have more than enough water for all of the villagers that I have. They haven't used up all of the they haven't been going through all of the water that they've got right now, so that's good. So I think at this point, I'm gonna go try and find a third villager. Well, technically fourth, because the character that you are playing is counted as one. So let's see here. I think I might end up going up here and checking these spots out to see if those guys have any villagers. Might have actually been faster to walk around just because you move slower in water, but let's try a straight line. So I think this is sunrise on the third day of spring. Oh hey, look at that. Some planks. And what is this small? Oh, hey. As it turns out, I'm quite I was quite hungry. I'm not quite hungry. Where were you 10 minutes ago? And I think I recall there's a spot up here. Don't remember where. I don't remember what period of time that it ends up appearing. But there was a spot up here where a chest would appear. I don't think it's available here. Because all of the little hidden things end up appearing periodically throughout the seasons. I don't know the timing of them. I know that they don't always appear, but those little, like the broken down carts that you end up seeing by the side of the road, they're all over. But they don't always appear all of the time. And I don't know what the frequency of it, like what seasons they appear in, and
How are you?
all right, so walkers. He's only a walker.
Goodbye.
He is useless.
How is life treating you?
Simple hard work. So this person is an extractor. They are not a hunter.
Have a good day. How are you?
Fishing and gathering. So they are
Goodbye.
they're survivalist. So none of those ones are any good. Disappointing. Now at some point we are going to have to come up here. This is a cave, and inside the cave is ores. So you can mine ores here, specifically copper, tin, and salt to start with. They offer a way to actually get some pretty decent money with a bit of effort. because you actually have to mine each ore. I've got a decent way of, or method of getting stuff, but it's not something that's easy to do, because especially start in the early game, because you can't carry very
How
much.
is life treating you?
Farmer. He's a farmer and a survivalist. And he doesn't like... Oh! He is a hunter. So he's got 3. He's a hunter, he's a farmer. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. So this guy's good. So he's got... Oh wow, look at those stats. So he could potentially be an extractor as well. Yeah. Lots of options for this guy. But I think that, well, he needs to be a hunter. Because at this point we need quick food. And hunting is the easiest way to get that. So now let's get him reset. And now the downside is that now with this, that they're gonna use up the knife durability fast. Because the more workers that you have, the more the durability is gonna. I don't know the calculation on that. How far I haven't sat there and watched it go down. But look at those numbers. So we can now do 40, almost 41. You know what? I like that idea better. So it's 42. We'll just up the work intensity. So 42. 42 dry food at 5 each. So 42, 5 is 210 food per day. Divided by 30, which is 7. So I can get up to 7 villagers for right now with the amount of food that I'm generating. So I guess the next step is, who do I want? Because I have room for one more, as long as they are a female. So, what do I want to do? Because obviously I'm going to end up having to add a building. I haven't really played around with the herbalist hut. I've usually made one and added one to the village, but I haven't really messed around with the potions because I don't see the point in them. Uh, the amount that you gain from a lot of these, especially at the early game, doesn't really like they don't do very much. It's much easier to find other ways of doing the same thing as the potions end up doing it. So I'm not really too keen on that. I haven't unlocked the smithy yet. And at this point, I've unlocked the kitchen. But they're relatively self-sufficient on the food situation right now. So the biggest thing right now is two things. One is if I'm going to build more houses and more buildings, I need materials. So I can either manually gain all of those materials, but stone in particular is very difficult. Because you either have lots of stone that you need to. Well, wait a second. I forgot about mining. Okay, so there's two options that I have for being able to generate the materials that I end up needing uh, for the buildings that I might need. One of them is I can build an excavation shed, and I would need to hire at least one person who is skilled with excavation, and they would just dig stone, which is fine. The other option is that I end up concentrating on mining, which is going through and mining those nodes. Number one, it would end up getting me copper, it would get me tin, and it would get me salt. All three of those items would eventually end up getting me money, or would immediately be able to get me money, and when I unlock the smithy, would end up giving me better tools. The side effect of doing that is that you also get lots of stone. But it also means that I would manually have to dig all of those nodes, which means that you're gonna have to watch me go around every day of this game mining every time I need to build a bunch of houses. And I don't want to do that. So I can either do that. I'm thinking excavation hut is probably the best option at the moment, because I'd like to get to farming. Mostly because of the additional options that farming opens up. Because farming would end up allowing me to do a lot more things than so. For one thing, from a skill tree perspective, it ends up opening up mounts, which makes traveling around the map a lot easier. And I can actually get a mount at this point with the donkey shelter. It would give me a mount that allows me to be able to go and travel throughout the map cheaply and easily. Now, there's fast travel options in the game right now. I don't know if you've noticed that every time I end up going near a town, you can see a carriage and a guy standing beside it, like the one that's over here. I can show you here. If my guy would move faster without getting exhausted. That guy there. So this guy lets me travel between villages. It's a fast travel between villages. The problem is it costs money. And it's early game.
See you soon.
So it's not easy to get money at this stage. Later on, it's like it's really easy to get money. But for right now, that's just not an option. But having a mount would mean that I can actually travel quickly between villages. Without having to pay. Now, obviously, it's not fast travel, so it's not instantaneous. I still actually have to run, but it's a lot more convenient to do it that way than it is to just walk everywhere. So I think I would like to go down that route. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm gonna get an extractor I'm gonna build 2 more buildings. The first is going to be the farm shed. Now, the farm shed allows me to hire or set up villagers in to automatically farm. So this field, they can farm it on their own. The other thing that I am going to add is I don't know where to put it. I guess here is an excavation shed. And the excavation shed allows you to set up an NPC, so a villager, to mine stone and dig clay. Now, clay is useful to a point. In that in an upgraded version of the workstation, of one of the workstations, you can make clay pottery to sell, and clay stuff to be able to use within other things as well. But I haven't found it all that useful for that, because there's other ways of doing like there's other stuff that by the time that you end up unlocking that, there's easier ways to make money. So trying to unlock that as a money making method isn't really that useful. However, it also ends up, clay is also used for daub, which is a well, it's an insulation, so it allows you to insulate walls. The wattle walls, but as well, that aspect of it isn't really that useful, because I don't know about the insulation for the other buildings, how they end up affecting the overall. Like, I don't know whether it makes the villagers happier or not. I don't, or whether, like, me, this character that I'm currently in, whether it makes them like warmer during the winter or something. I don't know if that affects it. So I don't see that I need to do that. But sorry about that. So I don't think that I need to get a whole lot of clay going. Stone would be nice. And not having to farm straw would also be nice. But not nearly as critical as stone at this stage. Do I want that first? No, I want this first. I like this filling, like gauge filling visual that they've added. It really helps to get an idea how close you are to finishing it. Oh. And now because of that, I probably ended up using up my... Yeah, used up all the logs that I had. Oh well. I'm gonna go dig up some logs over here. There's some stumps. Because digging up stumps will actually give you one more log. Plus, if you leave the stumps in the ground, you can't build anything there. You also can't build where you have trees, so clearing out trees and anywhere that you end up wanting to build stuff is necessary. And I honestly think I like... Well, I have mixed feelings about the wood gathering mechanic, but only from a particular perspective, because I think like if anybody else has played, or if you've watched the my series on that I started with medieval engineers, I really like the immersive aspect that they have with cutting down trees in that game, because you don't just cut down a tree and suddenly get all the logs that you need. You have to actually cut down parts of the tree, and you have can grow trees, so the larger that they grow, the more wood that you get out of it. Whereas this like each type of tree gives you a different amount of wood, which is cool. That means that you end up in you can choose which trees that you want to cut down based on an efficiency standpoint, but the actual harvesting of the trees is basically just a couple of hits, and that's it. Whereas with medieval engineers, it's immersive. You have to actually cut up the entire tree. The bigger the tree, the more work that you have to put in. So I don't know. I like the simplicity of this in a certain sense, in that it's quick. You can harvest all the things that you need and then go back to building. At the same time, like it's mixed feelings because I like both aspects. I think if this was more along the lines of medieval engineers, where ooh, I have just unlocked the smithy. Awesome. That means that I can actually go mining and get better tools. But for right now, I need to get these guys working. So, alright, so I'm gonna put these in here like that, which should clear. There we go. Perfect. So that ends up getting that. That is up and running. I just need to get this going. Oh, I'm short by, well, I'm always short. 2, 3, so 5. I need 5 more logs. That should have given me the right amount of logs that I need. But I am going to get more because I am here. And sometimes the hardest part of building is the running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Ugh. Yeah, like, see what I mean? Like, It seems to be going faster. Alright, so straw. So 8, 16, 24, and then 6. So I need 30 straw. And fortunately, again, I had the forethought to build next to a spot where I could get reeds. And I went overboard with the reeds. Ooh, hey, I can eat my bread. Oh, but I didn't need to eat my bread. Ah. Oh well. Alright, perfect. Alright, so we've got that. I'm going to need more houses. But at the very least, I've got lots of choices on the next possible. Now, see, the one thing with this is I am definitely going to need to do some major crafting because they will need hoes, bags, and sickles or scythes to be able to harvest. So that will require that I end up building a lot more things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because of the fact that all of this, any stuff that I end up putting in manually into the ends up going towards my skills. So the more crafting I end up doing, the more I'm gonna end up unlocking more things here, which is gonna end up making it a lot easier for other things anyways. So overall, it's not that bad. And the durability of the tools for farming doesn't seem to go down very much. So I don't think that it's going to be that big of a deal, but I am also going to need more crafting buildings to be able to do that. So I'm just not sure because it's like a lot of things that need to be built and prepared to be able to have this, so I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for it. I am very close. So everybody's decided the workday is done. So I think on this note, I am going to sleep to the next season, and then I am going to, as the day dawns in summer of, I don't know what year, year 2, day 1 of the summer of year 2, I am going to call it for today. I hope you enjoyed this stream or video, as you're going to end up watching it after the stream has happened. If you liked it, please like the video. If you want to see more content, please subscribe. I have several different games that I'm streaming pretty much every day, sometimes a couple of times during the day. So thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye.